Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and wow, what a card, what a fight, what a robbery in my opinion. We're going to get the inside scoop from John Fitch. There he is. I know you watched
Yep.
the fights, John. Did you
Yep.
do you live stream them?
I didn't get a chance to. Me and Tinkle were going to, but I was out at Sea Ranch over the weekend, and he was doing a show, and he didn't have time in between sets to get things set up, so we didn't get a chance to do that. Plus, I forgot my stuff to hook up to the LAN, and it's never a good idea to stream with Wi-Fi.
Oh man, see, I do okay, man. Like don't get me wrong, I don't love it because it'll screw you
Yeah.
over, but I'll take what I can get. I mean, you can sometimes see me at a
Mhm.
whopping 244p while I'm walking down the street with no cell service. So before we get started
Yeah.
and talk about everything, I want people to know to go to johnfitch.net. That's where you can find everything,
Wow.
including the YouTube page. What's the latest?
Mhm. I'm gonna start writing some more blogs. So I'll be putting my blogs on the mailing list, so you'll get first crack at reading those. I got a fun story about my first Chinese medicine experience. It's pretty cool. This guy hit me with a wet sock, and then he set me on fire.
He
It's a
set
fun
you on
story.
fire?
Set me on fire twice.
Set you on fire twice. I mean, let's hear
Mm-hmm.
that story right now. I mean, what are you doing? Are you
Sign
going
it.
to
You got to
tease my
sign up for the
audience?
newsletter, and you can read about it. But no, yeah, it's no. I was having some lower back pain. It's like in 2007, and my girl at the time was tired of me complaining and being all the time. I've been able to spar, ready for a fight. So some people in her family had been to a Chinese medicine doctor in Oakland. So she nagged me into going. I went, and it was a wild experience, to say the least. It was kind of like you walked in as like Big Trouble Little China, that little shop, the stuff hanging everywhere, and
So
it
it's a
was just
1980s Kurt Russell movie.
yes, that's what it seemed like.
Okay,
And
continue.
there was the smells did not smell like a doctor's office. It was just like an old partition from an office that was duct taped up together, and it was only like the back room examine area was only like 6 by 6. It was small. Yeah.
And
He
he
ended
lit
up
you on
he
fire.
ended up like he walked around, kind of poked me. It was supposed to be a massage, I guess, but I think he was just kind of poking me.
How? Oh, we lost him. We lost him for a second. Hopefully he's going to be back. Oh, wait. All right.
Uh,
So how old are you when this happens?
this was man, 13 years ago at least. So I was about 30 maybe, or I don't know, I can't do math.
Okay, yeah, no, just before
29.
30. So it wasn't your first rodeo. It wasn't like you're coming in there green and then all of a sudden you're 19, 22. You're like, hell, maybe this is what they fucking do to people. This is the deal. Like, you knew your shit.
Yeah, like I had done other stuff. I'd done, I'd done the needles and massages and everything else. I'd done all the rehab stuff for my lower back, and I was like, fine, I'll go and I'll try it, see what happens. And it was wild, man. He set me on fire twice. Like he put something on my back, and then he like whispers in my ear. He's like, this little hot, this little hot. I was like, what? And I hear a click, and then my back goes up in flames.
So what you're telling me is it all
And
worked and you did it again and again and again.
No, I only went the one time, and it's the only time I had to go. Like afterward, he's like, "You're young. You'll never have to come back." And I was like, "Okay, sure, whatever, buddy." And I went to training and I sparred, and it was the first time I was able to like make it through all 3 rounds without my back really like giving out.
Uh-huh.
And then the next day, completely healed, and I haven't had lower back pain since.
That is incredible. That is
Like, and I've had like 5 or 6 different times throughout my wrestling career and whatever where I had like lower back pain issues.
Mhm.
And I have never had an issue. I don't know what it is.
Holy.
But
listen, that's the grueling truth right there. I wouldn't have believed it. And thegruelingtruth.com is where you can listen to this podcast in audio format the following day. So definitely go check them out. That's like my favorite story I've ever heard from you, my friend. I got to tell you, that's
oh, wait till one of these days we'll get a couple beers in. I'll tell you the ping pong story.
okay. All right.
Ping pong,
Maybe
yeah,
maybe
it's
one
one
day
of my-
we'll be able to podcast that as well. But then again, who knows? It is
who
YouTube.
knows?
They're restricting
It
everything.
is YouTube. Yeah.
So the fights. Did you watch just the main card? You go all the way through, or what's the deal?
I watched the main card. I might have caught some of the undercard. I can't remember.
Did you
I didn't see
catch
all of it.
O'Malley?
I started a little bit late. I saw O'Malley. Yep, he looked great.
He did for being 2 years off. I mean, it looks like he's still on the juice, but it looks like everybody's juiced up. I mean, if you saw some of these prelims, who was it? Saparov.
It's all pro wrestling testing now, anyways. It seems like.
Yeah. That's where we're at. Unless you're Josh Barnett and you get taken off the only card I was going to be able to see this week.
Well, I think it depends on whether it's USADA or the commission that's doing it. Because it seems like the commission doesn't get everybody because they do random tests, but it seems like they're more consistent. People look less on the juice under the state commissions than they look under USADA.
It's weird how that works.
That's the casual understanding, except for like the Europe or Asia. You go there, the guy's definitely like gassed up. But like I don't see it in Bellator as often.
No, so what do you think about this card? Obviously, I think the overall card delivers big time. People get upset at the main event.
Yeah, main card, 100%.
Yeah, and you know what? I usually complain. But when a woman's fight delivers like that, and it's not very often that it does, I'd have to say that was, if not the greatest, the most entertaining women's fight I've ever seen, especially for a 5-rounder. I mean, they were going for it the whole time. And I mean, did you have Joe? I had Joanna 3-2, but split decision. I said I couldn't be mad no matter what. What did you think about that fight?
No, I had 3-2 for Wheelay. I thought she won the first 3. I thought she looked tough. I thought she did start to gas towards the end. Joanna could definitely make a case for a rematch or another fight in a rematch. It's possible.
Did you see Tulsa Gabbard in the cage?
I did. I saw that. I thought that was interesting. Man, I would love for the MMA Fighters Association to get a chance to sit down with these people a little bit more. I actually sat down with Tulsi, and she signed on to our bill, the Muhammad Ali Expansion Act. She signed on. She was one of our co-sponsors. So I got a nice picture with her.
Another reason to go Gabbard and say, Bernie, what are you waiting for? Announce this woman as your VP so that we can get some momentum in that crusty campaign. I mean, it is sad, though. The other guy is clearly senile and continues to say senile things.
He's losing it, man. He's losing it bad. Like, I've been kind of not trying to pay attention to politics as much because it's just frustrating. It's the same old BS. It's like they're purposely trying to just get a rise out of you by reporting nonsense.
Dude, but it's so... All right, so I was watching the documentary Bono's You Don't Know Bo last night to go to bed on ESPN+. And
was it like a 30 for 30? I was on ESPN. Yeah. I think I might have seen that. Does he shoot the bow and arrow with his feet?
I didn't get that far. It's towards the end.
Oh my God.
I believe it.
That's freaking ridiculous.
So there's a part in that where they're at the 89 All-Star game and President Reagan
he shoots
is
the bow with his
it.
feet.
What's that? What'd you say?
There's a scene in there, where he's like he's really into bow hunting or shooting his bow, and he shoots the bow with his feet. Pulls a string with his toes. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I mean, even he looked like his arms didn't look human, and he probably hadn't played professional sports in forever. I looked at his forearms looked ridiculous. At that time, he's got to be like a 45, 50-year-old man, 2012 doc. But anyway, they have Reagan, right? And Reagan is calling the All-Star game while Bo hits that home run or whatever. And so they show a couple excerpts of Reagan, and all I could think to myself is, man, Reagan seems sharper than after 8 years of presidency than Joe Biden seemed 6 months ago, let alone today. And I don't think that's a crazy assessment.
No, just a few of the things that he's been saying. He's off. He's definitely off.
He just said
and not only, I mean, he's old. He might be going a little bit senile, but that the campaigning and talking to people, it's exhausting. Like, I couldn't imagine, because I've done the Fighter Expo type things where you do a 2-hour appearance, or even the signing hour before an event starts, the weigh-ins or whatever start at the UFCs. It takes it out of you, because you're there. You've got to be on. You want to be nice to everybody that comes up and talks to you. You don't want somebody to have a bad experience, because they're going to remember that forever. And so I mean, these guys are trying to, and I'm just fighting. Like they're trying to win an election. So like you've got to be on point. You've got to be high energy. You can't have an off day when you're doing this stuff, and that can be exhausting. I could imagine doing just hour after hour after hour of that all day long.
No, I couldn't do it either. You know what? I don't know, man. People tell me I have like a politician personality, but it's got to be tough because you're never going to please everybody, right? No matter what.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be a fake person.
You're basically kind of acting. You're putting out this best version of yourself to everybody you meet for like an extended period of time. I can understand like the stars that like go into rehab for exhaustion or whatever because they were on a press tour and they broke from I 100% get that. You're on 3 months of doing that shit daily.
Well, that's
Holy
the thing.
balls.
People can't see that, and that's why, by the way, I'll be watching the Corey Feldman, whatchamacallit tonight. The Tale of Two Corys starts in actually an hour after this broadcast ends. So I'm going to be watching that live. I bought my $20 ticket. Can you imagine being Corey Feldman or like a Drew Barrymore where that is what you grew up with and you have to do that all the time and you happen to be fucking molested as a kid? So all these people that shit on, especially how, they got it so easy. I'm like, you don't understand, man. You have no idea. And then even then, if you're hit a certain level of fame, you have almost no anonymity. That can't feel good. I wouldn't want that. You know what I mean? Like, even being around Alex Jones fucking, after 10 fucking years. I mean, the guy is surrounded by, I would hate that. I would hate it. I'm sorry. I get it. Things, if you're going for the gold, if you want to be the best, if you want to get out there, great. But especially when you're a kid, you don't really have that choice. And it's a very cautious tale, Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a tough one, especially if you don't have any real choice. You don't really understand what's going on. Nobody's really giving you a square deal. I don't think the Corey's parents were like, "Hey, look, this is gonna be messed up. This, if this isn't fun, you don't have to do it." I don't. That probably wasn't something that they were referencing or.
Well, I'll tell you what, my buddy JP, he has healthy junk food, right? So they're employed by YouTube. They got 2.4 million subscribers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Ever since I've known him, and he's an engineer, by the way. He was an engineer. He was doing military contracting and development here, so basically CAD and stuff like that. And I met him because he was doing trivia as a DJ at the local bar, and he knew who I was because I was on YouTube at that point a lot more. And we started talking, and he's just like, I want to be famous. And at one point, he'd gotten to the point where he was like one of the number one Guitar Hero guys in the country, and doing like television tours as that too. And he's so desperate to be famous. And when he started the channel, he grinded. He got there. And I had him on, I don't know, a couple months ago, maybe a month ago, and we were talking about it. And he's like, dude, when I was a kid, I begged my mother to take me on auditions and let me be famous, and she refused. And I was like, yo, you should go kiss your mother's fucking ass right now because you've got a pretty good level of fame. You're very, marketable to kids, and she probably shielded you from some of the best predators because she actually loved you. That you can't imagine having viper parents. I don't think most people, that's another thing. People without shitty parents, they don't get that happens. You know what I mean? Some people are just so. I mean, I assume you had a pretty good life, right? Your parents seem pretty good.
Yeah, I had a great childhood. That's why it's confusing to me. I meet some people and they it took some years to realize it's not everybody has a great childhood.
No,
because I had a great childhood and I knew a lot of people who had great childhoods around me. Like I don't know if it was location oriented. But I'm an oddball out here in California.
Well, I'd say this, back in the day, there was always this, all right? So when I was a kid, I was moving around a lot. I was in apartments. It's like whatever, you know what I'm saying? Parents are on the verge of divorce. My dad's in and out of jail. I mean, real fun stuff. So what I found is, that's kind of the thing because you make friends in a group. That group usually have good families, and they all live within a few blocks of each other. And
same schools, or they knew each other. They knew each other from high school, stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's true, and you make those lifelong friends, man. And like even when I moved to my like permanent high school home, the ones that all end up getting jobs and having families, et cetera, they're all up on this little hill. And everybody else, it's been pretty fucking free for all, bro. There's some tragedies out there. There's some people that aren't doing good, et cetera, et cetera. You got to rise above it. But, you got to also understand it. You can't just shit on somebody because they have a cocaine habit because they've been given cocaine since they were 9 years old.
Yeah.
Like,
And they just grew up in it when they had their first cigarette at 7.
I mean, dude, can you imagine? Drew Barrymore to me is just like, who knows?
She was partying hardcore at like 10, 13 years old, some shit like that.
If that, you should. I mean, we'll find out tonight. Maybe I don't know how much you know about this documentary that's premiering tonight, but it is called "My Truth: The Rape of Two Corys," and I'm going to tell you whose name is 100% going to get dropped. And if I'm wrong, guys, I'll admit it tomorrow. But 100%, I believe Charlie Sheen's name is going to be dropped in raping Corey Haim, because that's already been on the set of Lucas, because that's already been in the National Enquirer, and it was actually a really in-depth story. And, Feldman himself hinted at it. Now he's got Ricky Garcia, who is this Disney kid that recently came forward that an Open Secret was tweeting about, and you saw some interviews. So they're also going to litter in a lot of other people, because apparently they're going to have 15 or 20 childhood victims naming people. Now, here's the question.
Damn.
Corey Feldman says he is going to name his abuser that he has not named. I think the big name is Charlie Sheen, and the abuser, isn't. A lot of people are speculating it's Steven Spielberg. Those have been the internet rumors forever. And I think that Feldman's hyping it up a little bit to try to give you some mystery and make you believe that, but I don't see that happening. But hey, I'll eat my words, because as soon as it's over, I'm going to give it a full review right here, guys. Make sure to come on in. We're doing
that. What's that? Are you going to the theater? Is that on?
So here's how they're doing it. We might as well bring it up, because I bought my e-ticket, guys. I bought my e-ticket. Let me make sure there's no login information. No, there's not. Okay, good. So if you go to mytruthdoc.com, it's $20. It's live. I'm sure it's going to be pirated everywhere, but you know what? I'm supporting this financially because I'm glad he did this. I know how much it costs to make a documentary. I know how much time it is. I know how many people shit on you for it. And I can't imagine the subject matter actually involved me and my friends being sexually abused. So kudos to you, man. It's unbelievable. They're going to stream this 2 days. The reason they're doing the second show instead of just one is because of the European audience. And it's $20 one time, and then they're going to see what they do from there. They were in talks with Netflix, but apparently Netflix doesn't want to touch it. That doesn't shock me. You know what I mean? Doesn't shock me. Could cut into their business.
Yep.
Oh, all right. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the robbery, John. I mean, I'm not wrong when I'm hearing the announcers say, I don't know how you can give it to Romero, or that's a 10-10 round in the first. No, it wasn't a fucking 10-10
No, it
round.
wasn't. No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
It's absolutely ridiculous that these guys are pushing these narratives. Like, it's pro wrestling. It's 100%.
Froze up. Let's see when we get him back, guys.
Is because... Oh, did you cut
No,
out?
you're back. You're back.
So, this is my theory. Is why everybody's complaining about the fight is because it's pro wrestling. The announcers are doing pro wrestling. All the media is doing pro wrestling. But the fight's a real fight. And when the outcome didn't go out the way it was scripted, it was supposed to be, oh, wait a minute, Adesanya was supposed to have this amazing counter striking and knock Romero out. But it didn't happen. So, it sucked. It sucked because they didn't get what the storyline they were told they were going to get. Romero won that fight.
Clearly.
He won the fight.
He clearly
won the fight.
You could have argued 4-1 Romero. You easily could have argued 4-1 Romero.
Yep.
No doubt about it. And let me
landed
say this.
Landed the most damage. They keep talking up the leg kick. I'm sorry. The leg kick wasn't that bad.
It didn't stop him once. He didn't stumble once. He didn't switch stances at all.
Didn't switch stances, didn't drop. Oh, it got a little purple. So what?
He had lumps on it. The man is a human lump. He's a fucking human lump.
I just don't care. And it's like, it's almost, it's weird. It's like they get a call, they get talking points, and they got to push something.
Listen, Ari Emanuel was sitting right next to, I swear it was Ari. If I'm wrong, guys, again, I'll say it again, but I got an eagle eye. Ari was in a red jacket, no tie. He was 2 people away from Dana. There was some sketchy guy in between them who had sunglasses on the whole time, which I thought was really weird, being cage side. But who knows? He could have been high on cocaine. Dare I say it. But the bottom line is, listen, first round, You can't tell me Romero doesn't win that round clean with that overhand right. He landed that clean. And just because he played the counter-striking game, standing there, making him go first, you're going to blame it when if you the other way around, you want to see the fucking chin music? Yo,
that's what you do
guys.
that's what you do to a counter striker. You make him go first. It's not hard math. He did a great. I thought it was a great fight. It was a great strategy. He did really well. I thought he won the fight. Mm-hmm. Everybody who's complaining, in my opinion, is a pro wrestling fan.
That's right. You're goddamn right. You are.
They're pro wrestling fan, or they're pushing a narrative.
Well, people are being paid to push that narrative, man. And I love Daniel, and I know you do, because he's your camp. But you might want to take him by the side and say, how much are they paying you, dude? How much do they pay you?
I mean, these guys, they don't get it, because
I mean,
he already should be making per fight what he has made total with the UFC. But like he should be making probably $15 million per fight guaranteed. Not even talking about sponsors and other shit. These guys are so robbed. It's ridiculous. It's so unbelievably ridiculous. And they just don't get it. They don't see past it. They don't see a possibility of a future. And it's really frustrating, because the guys on the top are really the ones who are losing out the most.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you're right there, because look, that was a great card for me, but you saw it didn't sell well. But I think a lot of that has to do with the coronavirus fears and all that other stuff. Yeah, and let's be honest, people are racist. My brother pointed this out. I didn't think of it.
Markets are bad too right now, so people, they probably just don't feel like spending.
And we're going to talk about that. But my brother said? He said, why isn't this a Florida card? He's like, Romero's out of Florida. Adesanya's not, out of Cali. He's like, I think Joanna's out of Florida as well. He's like, this is a Florida card all day. It's kind of weird that they did have it in the T-Mobile Arena. I don't know if that's a bad business decision, or they just didn't want to give. It could be they didn't want to give the crowd to Romero in case they have a fight like that and they have to sell a bullshit narrative, even though there were boos after it. I don't know, dude.
Yeah,
I feel bad.
I don't put it past them at all. I think they're very calculating. I think anything that would have given Romero an advantage, like, they're not going to do it. They don't want to put the crowd behind him. He's already popular with a lot of the fans. He's already the people's champ to a lot of people. So, of course they would do that. I don't see why they wouldn't.
And
they'll mess with your short colors. They'll mess with your music. Put you next to the elevator. They'll do whatever. Give you the early morning interviews. Make you fly to a different city the day before you've got to cut weight. Like, all kinds of just stuff, just trying to get to you.
So let's talk about the very uncomfortable, but I think it's a reality. I think it's without a doubt closing down shop for the MMA organizations for a little while, because it looks like everything's closing shop. Did you see that South by Southwest's closed shop? Oh, he freezes again.
Saw that they canceled. Oh.
Yeah, you saw that, right? They
canceled. I saw.
That. Guess what? Ireland.
I saw canceled. That the Southwest got canceled. Yep. Yeah, I think we're gonna wait. I think another 2-3 weeks is we're gonna see if anything big is gonna happen.
No, you're wrong, John. I hate to tell you. They're closing schools.
Already happening.
Listen, I'm telling you, it's an each day thing. First of all, the numbers are complete lies. Now I've been actually following this. Okay, I'd say there's probably 10,000 people infected in not the United States, in New York alone. Okay, I got confirmation yesterday. Remember when I played that phone call about Buffalo? So it was actually positive in Buffalo and in Niagara Falls 3 weeks ago as well. I got my first confirmation from a nurse that it's right here in Oneonta, a mile down the road in Fox Hospital. These are all confirmed cases at this point, okay? They've confirmed nowhere near
my mom let me know in Nobles County, Indiana, they had their first diagnosis.
So basically what's been happening, and I also, if you watched me a week and a half ago, I warned everybody that they had already made plans to shut down the stock market to stunt it, and that if so, that means they can also just shut it down, like close the stock market. And then they did it today for 15 minutes as it was tanking. If you didn't know that, from 9:34 to 9:49, they literally shut down all trading, and you got to ask yourself.
Even cryptocurrency's been taking a hit.
Oh, it's going to take a big one. But you know what? That one might rebound. Listen,
Well, I mean the thing is usually in the past with crypto, a lot of times when the market dips, crypto gets pumped up.
Yeah.
Like people have confidence in that. It's like kind of a backup, a fail safe.
You
But
got to
so like
understand, man, the
it's
supply chain is
worrying to
broken.
me that they both drop.
And no, it's not, because I've been all right. Because in the next few weeks to few months, it's very doubtful that those are going to hold any weight. We don't know where the dollar's going, because right now the market has been not only artificially inflated by them cutting the Federal Reserve a half a point in the beginning of the week to try to save it. All right. So if you saw that last Monday, they did that on purpose, and the market went up artificially, right? And then you saw it go down, then up, then down, then up, then down, then up. And then at the very end, when it went down on Friday, it went up a little more. But incrementally, it still slid down. It didn't gain back what it had the week before or anywhere near that. There was a huge dump in the market. I was up late last night in Europe. And obviously, that's going to be from the panic in Italy. They just quarantined, I believe, the entire nation now. So they've locked everybody out of coming in or out of that nation at all, because it is Europe. So not just parts of it, but everybody that's in Italy are in Italy now. They also had a huge prison break there about 6 hours ago. Now, if you did not know, 2 weeks ago, about a week and a half to 2 weeks ago, Iran had to let out 50,000 prisoners. Today they let out another 70,000.
They all keep licking that damn door.
What?
They all keep licking that damn door.
Dude, I wish it was that
They need to
simple.
stop licking the door.
You don't understand. So listen. So you got 70,000 prisoners out of there. You got prison breaks coming out there. What is going to happen in the next week in New York is by Friday, Saturday latest, all school will be canceled. There's only one reason why it has not happened yet. They have 114,000 homeless kids in New York City that have nowhere else to go when they close them. And hold on one second. Do I have that right there? Yep. So he actually admitted it today. It was probably going to happen, but this was a last resort 2 days ago. Okay? Now, Hofstra University closed. They say it's only for a week. That's a lie. Columbia University closed. Let me see if I have the full list here before that. Yes. So New Jersey is already, they'll probably announce statewide no school 2 days from now, max. Okay? My brother's sister is a teacher in rural New York. They're already telling her to gear up. So all these things are going to be carried out online. So everybody's still going to probably get their degree, depending on how crazy things get. But Columbia, down.
The way it should be anyways, people getting their degrees online.
Well, it's going to be a big change. But these are all before the, Westchester Day School. They're easing you into it, okay? Just like they're easing you. They haven't announced one death in New York yet, okay? That's a big key, because everybody's got this sense of security that all the deaths are somewhere else, but it's actually like a political move. Also, because you're gonna empty the empty the floor, man. The stock market, I believe, will close. They will close.
So here, my
Uh-huh.
my sister-in-law, my brother's wife, is a teacher, grade school teacher.
Yes.
And she wrote this in this group text right now. She says, I just got an email that referenced Avon schools in India that they are closed until after their spring break and are doing e-learning, and that we need to be prepared with online teaching in case we would become affected.
Yes.
Kindergarten and e-learning is a complete joke.
Okay, so let me just explain this to you. So that's going to be the norm across the country within 2 weeks. I know, John, I'm going to tell you right now. Again, I've been studying this and doing this, and I was there when Police State 4 and 3 were made over at InfoWars, and I never thought we'd actually see it here. But there are going to be large-scale lockdowns on big cities. New York City is probably the worst place you could fucking possibly be. And by the way, the first 4 states are going to see these rolled out in. Probably Washington first, and then New York next. And you will definitely see it in Florida and California. So, what does that mean?
I got ammo.
Listen, I'm just saying what you want to do before the panic buying really starts. If you have an opportunity, I'm telling everybody this: canned food, beans, have at least a 4 to 8 week supply if you can. Period. Water, all of it.
Rice, chicken.
Well, you want your shit paper too, because unless you're going to take a shower every time or lean in.
Maybe,
And
man, bidets might become popular.
oh, they're coming back.
You might want
That's
to
if we keep,
invest.
listen.
You might want to invest in a toilet cover bidet. That might
I
be a
just
good
want to
company.
reiterate right now what I'm telling you is best case scenario.
Mm.
That's best case scenario. So now let me give you some real numbers. I think that the reason the flu season was so big is because, first of all, there are 2 strains of COVID-19. All right? And that the one strain's probably been here easily. You know, if they detected it in Buffalo and Niagara 3-4 weeks ago, right? Probably 2 months, right? Why would they detect it before then? Now, the flu season was bad, and that's probably why, and it went completely undetected that way. Now, the second strain's not so great. And now that you're actually starting to see a mass outbreak of that first strain, old folks' homes will be the first to get hit. What would be second? Probably prisons. If you think about it, how once it breaks out in a prison, how are you going to get COs and guards in there? So, I mean, we're going to see a big revamping. By the way, New York prison system, FOIA, yesterday started making the privatized prisoners manufacture 2 things: masks and hand sanitizer. So that's what is in full production. Hopefully that doesn't fall apart. So the real numbers over at Kirkland, that nursing home, okay? And this is going to be very disturbing, but these are people with preconditions and they are elderly. As far as I know, there's not anybody that's died over there that was younger than 70. However, on February 19th, they had 120 different elderly folks there. Now, people die, sure. As of yesterday, 30 are dead. That's 30. Now, 70 of the hospital workers are now symptomatic, and they tested them within the last 48 hours. We still don't have their tests. The bottom line is the cat's out of the bag. We are going to see at least localized lockdowns and quarantines in our country for the first lifetime. Doesn't matter how bad this virus is. People are unsettled, and right now all you're seeing is the predator class make sure that they have the right infrastructure as the market goes down little by little, and everybody else who lost 20% of their pension today, you're going to lose another 60 to 80% of your pension, minimum. Get fucking ready. If you're in stocks, I hate to tell you, but that's what's next. And then at the end of all this, after whatever quarantines and whatever they run, the fear will always, this is our new 9/11. I hate to say it, but it is. It's this generation's 9/11. They'll creep up the fear, and then after what's done is done, the fear will always be there the virus can come back because it could mutate, it could lay dormant. I mean, this is a fucking science fiction novel. Anybody would bank on that.
Oh, maybe we'll start putting more money in hand sanitizers instead of the
Are you
war
really
machine.
worried about hand sanitizer? You're fucking doing the digs on the mat with the grimiest of motherfuckers and has for fucking 20 years, John. That's why I said
my immune system is great.
Exactly.
I'm all right.
And that's the thing. I don't think it has, especially if you count both strains as one strain, a high fatality rate. I think it's got a rather low one.
No, the problem is when you have an overflow, an influx of people that have it, and it's mutated. People, you have concentrations of, homeless people. Like that's when it's going to get ugly.
Well, let's talk some real numbers, admitted numbers. Okay, it seems that if you live with somebody who has this, right, you have 100% infection rate. So where am I getting that number from? Well, number one, it could be asymptomatic, meaning you never show signs, apparently, allegedly, right? Or it could lay dormant from 14 to 21 days. Again, these are the numbers they're putting out. So the first person that they admitted to in Westchester, he went home, he infected the other 4 members he lives with in his family, his wife and 2 kids. Now, the person that brought him to the hospital also got infected. Now, he also had a partner that got tested in his law firm, and he was infected. He had a family of 5 more at home, and all of them are infected. So I have seen zero evidence that if you live with somebody with this, you won't be at least infected, whether you even realize it or not, whether you go through it and don't even know, and like you have a cough for a day or not. It doesn't matter how severe it is, again, because the way they're going to treat this is going to be, dude, I've never been unnerved, but I got to tell you, I'm not happy right now. I'm so not happy. Like your kids are not going to be in school. You may have your travel limited. I suspect that most airports are going to be shutting down probably within the next 3 weeks. That's max. And I wish it wasn't that way, but you look at every other nation that's now dealing with this. Saudi Arabia canceled school nationwide. Japan canceled school nationwide. South Korea is the one that seems to test people and have this under control, and they say it's a 0.6, I think, kill rate. They tested 140,000 people, locked the streets down like China. I mean,
they're running out of testing kits places too, so they can't even.
Well, they don't have them. That's the other thing. I mean, I was trying to tell this to people as well. Like, if everybody thinks that they got a test, for instance, the Kirkland people, right? When I told you 30 people were dead, families held a press conference. Let's see if we can get there. Is that it right there? No, that's something else. Is this it? Yes. So families held a press conference. This is like 50 minutes long. And the way that these people were treated is absolutely disgusted and lied to. The family members still haven't been tested. They refused actually to test one. All right, so imagine this horror story, brother. And this is a horror story, okay? Imagine being told that your mother is alive and well. Now, you saw her on Saturday. You called her on, I believe, Sunday and talked to her. Now, people are calling, she's still in the home where a lot of these people are dying, okay? So, Sunday, you try to get through, you can't, but you're told that everything's fine. 3:30 in the morning, you get a call that your mother is dead. Never showed any signs of symptoms, nothing. And then, on top, to add insult to injury, my man, they called her back at 10:30 in the morning and told her mother was fine and had no symptoms because they hadn't updated that she died because there was no update in between. All right? And then, you want to add more insult? Are you ready? They didn't want to test her mother after she was dead for COVID-19. They said that it was natural causes, and even if she died of COVID-19, it didn't matter. So that shows you, and by the way, they're not even talking about testing the daughter. I'm gonna show you another thing that's horrific. This man actually represents the Kirkland home. He is their public information officer. I'm sure that you've dealt with some public information officers in your day.
Wonderful people.
Just the best people. They're the best
Just
people.
the best.
They're the best people. You know what? I'm going to let it speak for itself right here for the audience. If we can get it to play, because I had some problems with it yesterday. I got to tell you that. But the gist of it.
Back to some of the questions that came up yesterday that I have answers from. There was a question, where do our kits come from? They have been coming from the Washington State Department of Health in coordination.
Come on. That's not what I wanted anyway.
HHS and CDC as well. Have employees been hospitalized? We are aware of 3 employees who have been hospitalized.
Oh, maybe that's not. Where is it? Maybe it's 415.
And this includes those who are in the hospital, increased by 1.
Man, it's killing me.
And that's it for the numbers. So before I take new questions, let me try and cycle back to some of the questions that came up yesterday that I have answers from. There was a question, where do our kits come from?
Else. But anyway, what he admits to is that somebody's asymptomatic. They started coughing, right, within an hour. They got sick within that first hour, no symptoms, coughing, blah, blah, blah. They shipped them to the hospital, dead 3 hours later. So from no symptoms to dead in 4 hours. That's not being reported on at all in the media. Now, I don't care what kind of pre-existing conditions you have. That should actually be reported. And it's not being. And that's a public information.
Well, I mean, it makes a difference because you have a lot of people who are really sick.
Yeah.
Just naturally.
Yeah.
You eat shit food. You're out of shape. You don't work out. You live a sedentary lifestyle.
Yeah.
You smoke, you drink, you do all this horrible shit. And then bam, you get hit with something hard and your body can't even, take it for a few hours.
I am just saying, like, if you've got a loved one in a home, now's the time to think it, because they're going to lock people out of these things. And, you don't want your last experience with your dad or your mom or your grandpa or whatever to be like, oh, nothing was going on. I'm warning people, that I'm not saying it's going to kill 100% of old folks. I'm not even saying it's going to be more than the 0.4%, whatever. But the other thing is that we also have the leaked documents. John?
Leaks. What's the leaks?
Are you ready for this leak?
Oh yeah, before we hit the leaks, did you hear about the guy who got coronavirus twice?
Yeah, I know. Well, again, I think there's two strains, bro.
Well, he got it twice. Now they're calling it Dos Equis.
You love it. You love it. These are the
Gotta do the
leaks.
dad joke.
I know
Let's
you
hear
got
the
jokes.
leaks. Let's hear the leaks.
So this is from NETEC. You can check this out. They are expecting in the United States 96 million cases and 480,000 deaths. Now, heart disease, I believe, takes about 360,000 people over the year. The question is, if they're really going to be honest with us,
500,000 deaths.
yes,
You think?
they're saying 500,000. This is their best guess.
Best guess. 500,000.
fucking-
Jesus Christ.
I know. Did you see Rick? Did you see Rick Santilli?
Is this? I mean, I still think this is cooked up on purpose. They're trying to get rid of people.
No, I think so too.
They try to do it with war, and too many people complained, and
This
it
is
made
the
it too
new
hard
war.
to do it with war.
I
now they're
think
just
that
gonna-
this is it, dude. All right, so I've been listening to Jones see what he has to say, and he says it's the coup against Trump. I'm going to say this, and I'm not.
Well, I mean, I could see also that it's something that was released to hurt the markets, to distract people. They're playing it up real big in an attempt to make Trump look bad or weak. I could see that also.
I don't listen. I'll say this: if they really wanted to move on Trump, why not just kill him with it? Why not like seriously? You wouldn't even have to kill him with it. You know what I mean? You basically just have to get him sick, and that's a wrap. And then blame the virus, and you would have mass hysteria in the country. Their superhero died. If that fucking happens, John, if I can get out of the country, I'm getting the fuck out of the country. But like, and that's where
people
I'm
would think
going
that's
with
an
it.
assassination. For
What's
sure.
that? But it
People would
won't
think
be.
that's an assassination
But,
for
all right,
sure.
You know that Ted Cruz has self-quarantined himself, right?
Who's that?
Ted Cruz has self-quarantined himself. 2 congressmen have self-quarantined themselves. You have to understand, man, everything now is coming through the mouth of the CDC, the WHO, and then being delegated to guys
Oh
like
man,
Cuomo.
and you know how the government is so good at doing things.
And telling the truth.
They're so amazing at getting jobs done and being honest about what they're doing. They're so good. We should give them a lot more power.
They
and
did.
and our guns.
Oh my
and our
God,
guns.
you're gonna love it. So guess
Wouldn't
what
that
we
be the
did,
greatest?
John, for this?
Oh my goodness.
I'm so glad you said give them more power. So let's see.
So yeah, so we had all the whatever the laws and the stuff passed because of the terrorists, right? Now they're gonna pass some kind of like health whatever bullshit.
They did, man. He broad new powers, dude. Broad new powers. I watched.
Give
the thing and I
give
couldn't
themselves the right. They can like track us everywhere we go just to see if we've infected or been infected by anybody. We got to get a chip implant that registers our coronavirus exposure
I don't
level.
want to get in there, man. But I'll tell you what. They did it. Cybercrime is in this. Cybercrime,
God.
floods, hurricanes, anything now. I watched the thing and I watched them get called on it. Let's see if they have the cybercrime part. Control F. There it is. Cyber attacks or volcanic eruptions. They gave him all the powers you could imagine. By the way, snatch and grabs are now a real thing. And they won't tell you what this means, but we have 44 mandatory quarantines in New York now. Okay? Mandatory. And if you didn't see what they did today with the, take this down, with the ship, my boy Robbie Martin was there as basically ambulance after ambulance went to get these people, and I guess they brought 2,000 plus people to a military base. So all those people in a military base, by the way, when I say that SUNY's going to close, do I have any of that over here? New York State, all these things. Let's see, corrections. Here's the corrections one. Here's where they'll be making all these products for the coronavirus. This is yesterday, by the way. Let me see. I don't want to get into that one. There's John Fitch.
14 cents an hour.
Oh, I don't know if you got to see this, but you want to see how lovely it is? Remember we played that drill of those people last week? Turns out that, where is it? They came to New York. They did Apache drills in my town. This is the health resources. So all the abroad kids got brought home, and they're in 14-day quarantine. They're literally quarantining a ton of people in my state. And there it is right there. In Cooperstown, New York, home of the Baseball Hall of Fame, we had our black helicopter drill where the children cheered as the black helicopters came down.
Oh, much fun.
John, do we see
That
Bellator
tire
this
flying
Friday?
ball.
Should I go?
Hmm.
Is it going to happen? Is Coker going to pull Bellator this Friday at the Mohegan Sun, or am I going?
Man, I haven't heard any type of news that it would be closed. I mean, the UFC just did an event. I don't know. I would think it still goes.
Yeah.
I think it still
I'm
goes.
50-50 whether it happens or not. I don't know. I guess you know what matters? I think if Trump waits to declare the national emergency till Friday, then it happens. But or Saturday, then it happens. But then again, wow.
I mean, you'll find out. I think you'll know by Wednesday, because if people start showing up on site,
or
that's usually when most people will be there.
Or maybe Dana White is telling him to hold out until Friday after people show up and buy tickets and really put a monkey wrench in everything.
He's hoping everybody at Bellator gets sick, and then the UFC can buy Bellator.
No.
Buys them cheap.
Oh,
It's all been
boy.
some secret ploy.
Pennies on the dollar. Dude, who knows? I mean, again.
The Fertitas released the virus so that they could take money away from other promotions and buy them up. Wouldn't
Dude.
be the first time they pulled some shenanigans
all the
like
entertainment
that.
companies, they last. You know, right? Viacom lasts. WME lasts no matter what.
Well, no, I mean, these companies, they've lasted for a while, but no company lasts forever. Like, most companies come and fall, and you can see the top ones like 20, 30, 50 years, like sooner or later they fall.
Yeah, but they usually get bought out by a bigger one. And I don't know how that's going to happen this time, because everything's so big. Like, what is Disney buy both? Like, does Disney? Yeah, maybe. I mean, they did buy Strike. I mean, back in the day, it was Zuffa buying Strikeforce. I guess Disney buying out Viacom is very viable. That's not even. I mean, we're there. You know, we're into mega corporations. I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting to see if they try to nationalize anything in the United States. I mean, with oil crashing.
I mean, it's just going to be weird. I mean, I don't know. Like, things get more decentralized. Like, these big, huge powers pop up, but there's also a lot of smaller things that are created underneath. You know, because it used to be radio, and it was just one radio, FM or whatever, and then there was just. I had 5 channels growing up.
Yeah, I remember.
Then cable came along, and then there's hundreds of channels, and then satellite, and now you've got apps and the internet, and there's these big, huge corporations. But I feel like at some point, the corporations are going to crumble because everybody's in such small tribes, digital tribes.
I hope you're right. Listen, I hope that. Man, I just don't know. Like, at this point, like, I don't want to even dream of what my worst nightmare from all this will be, just from the control aspect. Because, again, it'll never be the same. Once you let a city get quarantined, no matter what, globally, it'll never be the same. I've seen the videos out of China. They're not great. I'm not saying it's going to be China, but now I'm watching videos out of Italy. They're not great either. There's a lot of not great going around. And I'm half Italian.
No, it's a good excuse to have a standing army.
Yeah.
And around your civilians,
It's a great excuse to have that. And ultimately
we're doing it for your safety.
Yep. Well, again, I think no matter what, at this point, that's a given. Like, in New York, there's no doubt, even outside of the quarantines, they're going to ask people to self-quarantine. And how do you enforce that? You enforce it with the local police and probably the National Guard at checkpoints. Like, really. Dude, I'm praying to God, and by the way, guys, I will be the happiest motherfucker in the world if a month from now, when me and John are doing our mixed martial mindset, that's not a thing, that I haven't gone through my first military police checkpoint because of this. But I really think that's happening. I wish I didn't. I mean, literally, as I was telling you about the school closings, you got the fucking text. I mean, I don't know, man. John, you wanna tell people what you're up to, what kind of things you have going on?
I am working on getting my weight cutting book out there. The weight cut book will be out hopefully 4 to 6 weeks. I'm working on cover right now. I'm giving up on getting the pictures from Bellator. It's too much of a pain in the ass. I'm just gonna get the book out. I have my self-defense seminar, basic self-defense, focus on space management on March 22nd out here at One World Jiu-Jitsu. That'll be the third one. I've been going around doing these different places at least once a month. If you're interested in having me out, hit me up, social media, and I'll come out and teach you how to defend yourself, help you master violence a little bit. And then, I just working on stuff here and there. I got to get some more guests on John Fitch Knows Nothing. But if you guys haven't checked out previous episodes, go check it out. Podbean, iTunes, all that jazz, YouTube. And then, sign up for the newsletter and get cool stuff.
Love it. GruelingTruth.com is where you can listen to this. If you want to turn somebody else onto the podcast, or you just listening to audio, that's where you can find it. It will be available the next day, but we like doing it live. I love doing everything live. I love interacting with the audience. I've got a GoFundMe. This is how I do it. $5, $10, $15. It means the world to me. The big donors. Obviously, I'm staying big on this coronavirus story, or we wouldn't be fucking talking about it on Mixed Martial Mindset. I wish I wasn't talking about it. I wish I was just talking about Corey Feldman getting molested, or Weinstein or Epstein. That'd make me a lot happier, but gotta do it. John and I are both on Rockfin. And what do you guys think about this? I got hit up by one of the guys at Rockfin. My numbers are pretty good. They're pretty happy with me. And they were asking me, what if you did one day just exclusively on Rockfin? That means I wouldn't be with you on YouTube. Do you think that'd be something that's appealing, that would bring more people in to pay? You know, if I did it 3 to 7 times a day, once on Rockfin, that might be something I move to, because I think that maybe you guys would want that. Like, if you knew you couldn't see me here on a Thursday or a Friday and you could only see me on Rockfin, you think that's a good move, guys? Or am I a shithead for even thinking about it? And
you can also just do early, put the episode up first week early on Rockfin.
Yeah, I know, but the cool thing about the Rockfin is also, like, they got the live stream, right? And then my audience is pissed. Well, I didn't live stream it. So what I've been doing here for bonus material, some of this stuff. Oh, where's mine? There it is. Is the First Amendment conference that was held by Alex Jones. So we've got, where is it? Man, we've done a lot since then, huh? I guess we have. Yes. So you got Owen Schroyer. You got Millie Weaver. I'm going to put Gavin McInnes up later this evening. You have Bill Binney's assistant and whistleblower. So I try to give people, on top of just me, some interesting stuff maybe I wouldn't publish at my channel. That's about a wrap. I hope that me and John are talking about the Bellator card that we didn't even preview next week. And whatever shitty UFC card they try to put on ESPN Plus or whatever as well. That would make my day. So, John, thank you for joining me, brother. I will see you guys on the flip.
All right, man. Take it easy.